So in this story, Deirdre of the Sorrows, perhaps you're familiar with it, we have two main characters in my mind. We have King Connor, the King of Ulster of Northern Ireland, and then Deirdre, who she's this beautiful woman, and she has a really horrible fate attached to her. To find out, you have to read the book. So she's this kind of cursed young woman, and then the king, who, as I was exploring more of him and why he's just so insistent on getting her, it's really selfish for him. He wants to have a beautiful wife, kind of, but more he wants legitimacy as king. He wants to be seen as the king of Northern Ireland, as opposed to his rival, from whom he actually took power through a sneaky trick that his mother played. So he's always looking over his shoulder, thinking that he's going to be usurped. So he's very suspicious, he's very paranoid. And I tried to make it very clear, and keep it coming out more and more in the story. As the versions of the story that most of us read are based on the Irish sources, which play it out as a love story. And yeah, to a degree, this is a love story between Deirdre and Nisha, her love, and then King Connor, who's like the villain, who's always against them. And the more that I read the stories, and then the more I reflected on them, and then once I saw what came out in my rough draft, like in the other video I was saying that the story just comes out. I don't feel I have control over it. It emerges. That it wasn't really about Deirdre and Nisha. It wasn't the love story. For me, this was a story about how obsession can really be harmful to everyone. You know, the dark side of desire, the dark side of wanting and fear, all our more animal instincts, I suppose, our animal emotions, feeling threatened, feeling worried, concerned, wanting status. To me, that's very much what this story is about. So as I went through the next drafts, that was highlighted. That was definitely an important part I wanted to bring out. So you have King Connor, and then I have Deirdre. And when I was writing Deirdre, I was quite conscious of how I wanted her to be. In the stories, she seemed to come off as this somewhat innocent maiden, and she's, locked away in the castle far away, and Nisha, he kind of comes and rescues her. And in my experience of Gaelic women, they are not damsels in distress. Celtic women are some of the strongest women I've ever come across. Very, very strong, very fiery. And it just seemed a bit odd for Deirdre to be not weak, but for her to be almost powerless. And perhaps that had to do with literary traditions that the story passed through. Of course, it would absorb some of these influences, some of these ways of expressing characters' personalities. But I wanted my Deirdre to be strong, to be feisty, because that's what I imagined she would be. If we were there with her, I don't think she'd be sitting there just kind of sighing and moaning and, oh, I hate my life so much, this is horrible, I have to marry the king. She starts off that way, but once she realizes that she could have a better life, she goes for it. She's determined. It was quite interesting to see how she unfolded. In the first draft, I actually had her threaten I didn't have her, it just happened that she threatened one of the cooks with a knife. He's like, tell me what I want to know. And he's like taken aback because she's this, noble lady, but she knows what she wants, and she's not going to take any crap from anyone. That's my brief take on King Connor and Deirdre in the next novel that I'm writing.